no one can really agree on Mauigoa over Fano or Ioane. We have heard a lot of kind of being like, well, if this wasn't really about position, he would certainly be a higher pick too.
I mean, we have not spent much time talking about him, but like the other two, I find it really fascinating because you are trying to offset what you already have or what you think you have mixed with what could potentially just be, I don't know, somebody that plays for 10 years, a plug-and-play starter. And so the conversation's fascinating. We had Dane on yesterday, Dane Brugler, and Nick, I mean, what'd you say, Mac? Like 50% of that convo was him talking about Fano? Like he couldn't stop salivating about him. And then between the Schrager audio, like there's just been a lot this week about Spencer Fano. And so I find that to be incredibly interesting.
What I like about Fano and what I like about Mauigoa both, is they both are ass kickers. Like the knock on Caleb Lomu is he needs to learn a little bit more of that NFL grit, maybe get a little bit more vicious. The knock on Monroe Freeling, and not just the raw stuff, but again, he can be more physical. If you're taking an offensive line with a top 10 pick, I want a guy who's going to beat the crap out of whoever he's across from. But I think what's interesting with the difference between Mauigoa and Fano is everyone's pretty much settled in. They think Mauigoa is a guard, whereas with Fano, there are some people who still think he's a left tackle, which I don't think he passes the arm test, the arm length test.
Okay.
But then there are even more people saying, no, he's a right tackle. Then there are people saying, I think he's a center.
He was in the three percentile as far as arm length is concerned.
Yeah.
So, and this is why, and I brought it up for Mauigoa yesterday, but it applies for Fano as well, the Joe Bitonio side of this. Whereas, if you could end up being Joe Bitonio, Bitonio played right tackle in college and then obviously kicked inside, and that was an awesome career. If that's what you're looking at right here, I don't think that's a bad thing, especially not in this draft class, especially not at 6.
I'm glad you said in this draft class. Here's 3 years from now when I look back at this draft. I just need you to have found 3 or 4 more ball players. At this point, because Elton Jenkins, he's still a short-term play, very likely. I think he's got a 2-year contract. Be lucky if he gets here 3 years from now.
And I can't let Tevin Jenkins stand in the way of any sort of plans.
100%. Listen, I think they've got a couple guys who are going to surprise people. But Titus Howard is 30. Zion Johnson is a younger guy, but that could be a guy 2 years from now they're looking to replace. So I guess my point is, long term, I'm not sold any of the guys they signed are still going to be here. Short term, there's very few guys that I'm really locking into any specific spot. So, I think the Fano thing that's so interesting to me is that people are like, well, he lacks a position, and that scares me. In this draft, I don't want to reach for guys who might not be worthy of the draft position or who might not be impact players because then that's just another long-term question mark. It fills a need now until it doesn't fill the need. So if Fano ends up being your starting center for the next 10 years, that's more important to me than if Monroe Freeling ends up a couple spotty years here and doesn't ever end up being the player people wanted to be at left tackle.
Yeah, no question about it. The arm and the hand size I find incredible. It really is. He's just a massive human, and he's got all these great traits, and he's fast, oddly enough. His 40-yard was the very best out of any lineman in this draft, and then he just has these little alligator arms, doesn't he? And he's got these little tiny baby hands, too. His hands are in the 9th percentile.
What's that even look like?
It just doesn't fit. The 9th percentile?
Now, if we make...
It's 9 inches. That's the 9th percentile.
Okay.
You're giving
me too much
places
information.
That's not. In some places, that's well above average.
Yeah, in some places.
Some places.
Just stop. We got to stop it because I'm going to go there. I think do we have to, by the way, do we have to make itty-bitty hand jokes with him the way we did itty-bitty human jokes with Dylan Gabriel?
I think we do the T-Rex arms things probably more with him. Yeah, I think so.
Every time we talk, do we actually do like
every joke we make for Will Campbell, we have to then do for him. That would be part of the problem.
The difference is Will Campbell plays in New England. If Will Campbell was here in Cleveland and it had been criticized as badly as he had been in the second half of the season, I'd be like, the man was playing through an injury. I would have fought for the hills for Will Campbell.
I think we get to transfer it is the point, though. We get to transfer all the commentary, and we can just move it right over here, and then we'd probably end up interviewing him at training camp or something like that.
And it'd be like, I think he's got long arms.
And it'd be like, wait a second, my hands dwarfed his hands. What's going on here?
So I just double checked too. Fano has shorter arms than Will Campbell and smaller hands than Will Campbell.
Yeah, again, he's in the 3 percentile for arms. That's incredible. And then the hand is the 9th percentile. That's
Only thing I'll say about
tiny.
that, I don't need my offensive lineman to have big hands because I have found
They got big feet.
Well, no, it's the smaller hands, meaning the less surface area to spread out the violence. You ever been punched by a dude with small hands? My cousin Glennis hits as hard as a man.
What's your cousin's name?
Glennis. But hits like a man.
That's a ridiculous
And
name.
my cousin Johnny, her twin, he's 6'4". She hits harder than him, and I think like 50% of it is she's got smaller hands than he does. Guys, she's hit me in the shoulder, and my shoulder lost feeling.
Are we going to spin zone short hands or short arms?
Short
are the
arms
new,
is a thing. But tiny hands might be for an offensive
tiny
lineman.
hands are the new big hands.
Yeah, because when he gets under you and he punches under your the chest protector, ooh boy, is that going to smart.
I just don't want him holding like a thing of Coke and being like, oh, you got the 2-liter, and it's like, no, this is the normal size. Like I at some point you got to have enough size there, big enough hands somewhere.
I just love that you're making and breaking your evaluation of an offensive line prospect based on your cousin Glennis.
Yes.
But
yes.
You haven't met Glennis.
Have you? You know what? I'm gonna invite her in here to punch you in the shoulder, and then I'll have Johnny punch you in the shoulder. And when you come back and go, man, she hits harder. It must be the tiny hands. I think I'm going to be proven pretty right, and your shoulder's going to hurt like hell.
I'd love to see it.
But I don't think you would. I wouldn't volunteer to be hitting anywhere if I were
we can put it on YouTube.
We can definitely. If you're just saying I think that's consent right there. I was worried about
consent.
In my head, I was worried about HR for a little bit of like, I don't know, can you really bring somebody in to
they outsource
I don't know,
that.
punch the board up and see which one hurts? But he just consented.
Actually, we'd turn into like a random jackass type bit. Just who can beat up Mac? We could have Nick Nemeth like suplex him.
Okay, no. I'm good. I can deal with your family members, but. No, go on, Nick Nemeth.
Oh, can you believe that?
Hey,
taunting my cousin Glennis.
Really quickly, how are we going to play this interview? You're not going to out him for me being not a wrestling guy, or is that part of the deal? Because he's going to pick up on the idea that I don't know anything about wrestling at all.
I like to play it by ear. Like if
are we
you
gonna
incense
outwardly
me
be
between now and then, there's a real good chance I will.
I just don't know.
But if you play it cool, Johnny, we'll see.
Well, I don't even know what I'm rooting for in this. Like, you should be like, hey, so Jonathan says he thinks wrestling's fake.
Okay, but don't say that. Because that's the only thing.
I mean, I need to know what grenades I can't step on, I guess.
Don't say that.
Why is that so bad?
Because that's a chotch move.
Like, tell me what's a chotch move. I don't want to offend the guy, is the point. And I also don't want him coming over here and then hitting me in the face either.
If you say,
I prefer that not to be a Thursday.
Honestly, it would make some good headlines. It'd be good press for the show.
Oh, could you imagine that? I mean, could you imagine just me getting socked in the face?
Yeah, I can.
Hello, awful announcing.
Yeah,
hello,
I can.
By what's his name? Dolph Ziggler?
No. It's Nick Nemeth. Dolph Ziggler was his.
I put in Nick Nemeth and Dolph Ziggler came up. Is that gone?
That was his WWE name because they don't let wrestlers use their given name.
It's like an RSS feed.
No,
it doesn't transfer when you go.
They own the actual the name. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, like an RSS feed for some companies, they own it, and then you just don't get to transfer.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, you can say I don't follow wrestling, or even I don't like wrestling. You can't say it's fake.
You can't say it's fake to a wrestler.
No,
okay.
Because honestly,
I didn't know that.
Well, I think wrestlers are cooler about
it. But I didn't know that.
Wrestlers are cooler about it now than they used to be. I just think if I was a wrestler, I'd say, why don't you come down to the ring Saturday and I'll body slam you and you tell me how fake it feels.
I mean, but isn't he wrestling with like Bernie Kosar?
No. Bernie's in his corner.
Oh, okay.
He's wrestling AJ Francis.
I was like, is Bernie memorizing the moves? Is Bernie? I really
be great to see Bernie drop the big leg.
That's what I thought was happening. And I thought it was obviously set up then for Bernie to win the match. But obviously that's not the case.
My hope is there is a spot where AJ Francis, who was a former NFL player by his own right, that he maybe taunts Bernie and then maybe like Bernie with a kendo stick or just some weapon or just pie faces him.
Yeah.
Into a great spot from Nick Nemeth. That's my hope.
I bet he's got bigger hands than Spencer Fano.
Bernie?
Nick Nemeth.
Oh, yeah. I think everybody does. It's the short arms that concern me. The short arms are the bigger deal for me. For offensive linemen. For quarterbacks, you need to have bigger hands. But getting back to I don't know where the hell you want to go from here.
Well, I mean, there really isn't many places to go from here because I'm not necessarily sold on the idea that we haven't really talked Fano into existence here. And the only thing that Brugler kept going back to was how great he was at the Combine. Mm-hmm. Like the selling point for Spencer Fano was the idea that at the Combine, he apparently was just otherworldly awesome. And I just don't know that I love that being the major selling point of this evaluation.
I think I have arrived, though, at the point where I want to treat the 6th pick with the idea of, again, 3 years from now, who are going to be the guys we say are the best football players? If that's Vega Ioane, then take an out-and-out guard at 6. If it is Mauigoa and he's a guard, take him at 6. Because I do think, I really believe, if you consistently take for need over a best player available or best player available within a subset of needs, I think you're going to be a bad franchise.
I also think it's different. I think it matters what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. And for the Browns right now, they really do have the luxury of sitting back and saying, who's going to make our team best for the next 5 years, not necessarily just for next season.
Well, and I think there's been some talk about Howard being being able to move over to left tackle. Obviously, you have DeJuan there as well, and Elton Jenkins has experience too. So it's not like with wide receiver.
Well, yeah,
I can't slide somebody else over to play wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I can't take Harold Fannon's backup, who's I don't even know what their name is. I think we signed him. He was a guy.
With Jack Stoll?
Yeah, old Jack Stoll. You can't slide him into the X spot, right?
Good run blocker.
But
although Coach tried making an argument for Jack Stoll yesterday as a reason for why they're going to be awesome this year, and I was like, you can't bring Jack Stoll into the equation.
By the way, the thing I really agreed with Greenlee was Sam Roush, the tight end out of Stanford.
Okay.
That man is a gigantic human being.
6'6",
yeah,
massive.
Worst case scenario, just turns into a really good blocking tight end that occasionally catches the football. Best case, the dude is just a physical specimen.
Well,
and he's Stanford smart.
If Andrew Berry thinks that he's got the inside track, his hot hand is on tight ends, then go for it.
You know the other thing, just getting back to Garrett Greenlee, because I had made Sadiq or Concepcion was one of the questions I asked him at 24.
Yeah.
And didn't he say neither? I think his answer was...
He said neither. He didn't like either one.
Yeah.
He liked Sadiq less, though.
What's interesting is I've gotten a lot more questions from friends and everybody about Sadiq at 24, which usually tells me that he's being mocked to the Browns more at 24-39.
He just feels like a Browns player. But again, he falls in that category of guys. 6 drop passes in 2025. His ball skills are just maddeningly inconsistent, all things considered.
Yep.
His production was otherworldly. He led the FBS as far as tight ends are concerned in receiving yards.
Should be in that system.
Yeah.
With that quarterback. Yeah, I'm anti, and I'm just going to say this because somebody has to stand on it. Somebody has to stand on this. You're
the guy to go out on a limb here.
I'm the guy that's going to say it.
Yeah.
If you get paid on catching the football, and you do not catch the football consistently, I'm out on you.
I mean, he is by far the best tight end in this class, but he would have been behind Warren, behind Loveland last year. It's just not. It's not the same class as what it was last season.
And if Carnell Tate does go at 6. Can I talk everyone else into Jordan Tyson at 24? Because the Jordan Tyson stall is real because he actually just scheduled a personal workout with teams at Arizona State on April 17th. So I think the camp knows he's falling in the draft. If he falls right to the Browns at 24 and you get Tate and Jordan Tyson.
It's not a sell for me. I love it.
I'd also like Chris Bell. I really don't.
Chris Bell's injury scare.
So I don't care. Chris Bell without the injuries, I think would be a first-round pick. And the idea that happens really annoys the hell out of me. It's like in this draft where there are so few elite-level prospects. I'm not saying Chris Bell is an elite-level prospect, but where you just need to find good football players. Chris Bell will be one of those dudes 3 years from now. We're like, how the hell did he? Much like A.J. Brown going 49 to Tennessee, a player he's been compared to, by the way. Chris Bell's going to be a guy 3 years from now. How the hell was he only the 39th pick?
Yeah, I mean, it's all about the torn ACL he's still recovering from. And I don't think he's going to be ready for the start of the 2026 season. But
That's
again,
fine.
For the Browns, that doesn't matter. You get value out of that